Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. And for all the censors out there that monitor the community guidelines, we always tell you with the New Health Conversation that the only thing we ever quote to our audience is from peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. So everything we talk about, there are no claims because it's all in the public domain. They're all welcome at any point to go and look at the research that we're stating. We only share from the research. We've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. We did over 20 shows on public broadcasting and over 1,500 live lectures around the world. We pride ourselves on providing real medical proof of everything that we're talking about, whether we're showing the contrast between the current state of diets and health and the newest breakthroughs that we talk about in our podcast. So we just like you to know that we stay well within the community guidelines, because nothing we state is a claim and nothing is our opinion. Well, hello and welcome everybody. Good morning. Imagine losing 20 to 40 pounds in just 30 days safely, no crash diet involved. I know this sounds crazy and probably a lot of you are just going to scroll by and think, hey, this is photoshopped, it's not real. So let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on public broadcasting, and I've done over 1,500 live lectures around the world at hospitals and universities and towns. My reputation has been that I only bring, nothing is my opinion. I don't give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on social media that'll give you opinions about keto or paleo or Mediterranean or time-restricted eating or whatever it is. But when you look at the stark reality that John Hopkins says in 4 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight and obese, do you think it's time to be open to possibly a new solution that's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human studies? She lost, wait till you see this, everybody. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds in 3 months. How much would that excite any of you? And even Kristen over here, 5 pounds a week, 21 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days. Now, the other thing about this, it's not a diet, it's not about counting calories, and there's no exercise involved. Not that they're against exercise, but for purposes of these medical studies, they didn't want exercise to be part of it. Otherwise, you'd say, hey, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. This is changing, it could change your life. I hope you'll stick around for the next couple minutes, because I'm going to explain exactly what they did. It'll shock you. It's not a diet. It has nothing to do with calorie counting. That's one of the things I want to focus on first. You realize that calorie counting is completely dead and finished. That calorie counting is ridiculous. And here's why. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It doesn't care about calories. And the researchers who created this, who are they're ranked the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They've done 100 studies over 40 years on every diet out there, counting calories in, calories out, using organic foods, trying every kind of diet. They never in 40 years of research ever saw a diet where someone lost weight and kept it off, or at least the vast majority of people. Now, you're all, I know, interested in either losing weight or improving your health. And look, on this protocol, we have kids as young as 2 doing it. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. It's not a diet. The number one thing this is a detox. And when I talk about things like that, here's the difference. It's backed, they did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes, massive panels of research on the people that were going through this. This has never been done before. And the other thing is this protocol is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. What does that mean? It means it's safe. And number 2, the medical journals have validated that this is real. Nothing that we're showing you here is made up. Nothing is fake. Imagine she was not allowed to exercise, and she lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in just a month. She only had 30 pounds to lose, so she lost 21 pounds of it in the first month. But we have lots of other examples. You look at Julie here, 35 pounds in 37 days. That's almost a pound a day. You're all excited about a pound a week. I know, because we do, what have I done? Over 1,000 podcasts in the last 15 months. I do 3 or 4 days, 7 days a week. You do the math. We're here to help you. We're here to educate you. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to convince you of anything. But, and then you look at a 65-year-old man, 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. You think anybody else on social media has got anything like this? They don't. Now, this is not our research, by the way. Please be clear. So we're going to explain to you in just a moment how in the world did they do this. I want you all to understand that all through this, notice, visit the New Health Conversation. What is that? That's the free medical website where you can go at any moment in time and you can see the medical proof. There's nothing on that website to buy. The only thing there is the medical proof. But if you like what you see, you can actually scroll down. Notice free coaching. It's not a gimmick. We coach you for free. Not just the initial consultation, but all the way through, because one of the keys to this is maintenance. She lost that weight 8 or 9 years ago. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, I know for most of you, you're probably going to jump off and think this is BS and it's not real. Look, we're researchers. I'm not just some guy. You don't write 4 best-selling books. You don't get on PBS 20 different times. I was also a keynote at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world, a few years ago. I'm very proud of our work. I'm very proud because our whole goal has been to make you aware of what's available. We're not here to sell you anything. There's no products to buy, by the way, on this protocol. There's no products. This is food and a totally new way of eating. And in this case, they didn't even exercise. Now, certainly you can exercise if you want to. You would go over all that with your coach if you like what you see. See, if you go to that website right there, the New Health Conversation, we're not going to contact you. Why would we need to? That's the medical proof. If that doesn't convince you or heighten your curiosity that you want to know more, there's nothing we can say. We're not here to twist your arm. We don't need to do that. I believe you're looking for us a lot harder than we're looking for you. Not that we're not here to help you, because we are. The whole idea behind this movement called the New Health Conversation is to make you aware. But again, any of you, if you could lose 5 pounds, this is the least amount people typically lose. Look at Andy here. He lost 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days. Now, he's a younger guy. But look at his A1C. It went from 7.9 to 6.2. His LDL, 120 to 59. They're now saying that 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese in 4 years. 50% will be obese, and 50% will be pre-diabetic. Does anyone really think that diets work? I'd love for someone to put in the chat a diet you think works. What's the protocol, Kathy, on camera? I'm going to explain it to you right now. So what the researchers did, now keep in mind, they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. Not me rating them, they're rated by their peers. They had done 100 studies over 40 years on all these diets counting calories. So the first thing they said, we're not going to have anybody count calories anymore. It's ridiculous, silly. The human body can't count calories, so why would we have you count calories? Instead, what they did, they went and found foods where there were only 2 things they cared about. Could they find a food where they could give you a little bit less food quantity-wise, but give you maximum amounts of nutrition? So they picked foods with really high levels of nutrition. And they put a grocery store list together that you literally would get. You'd take it to your grocery store. You don't buy anything from us. You don't buy anything from the researchers. 30% of what you spent last month total on groceries, that's all you're going to spend this month to do this protocol. And you get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. You got it? Also, PCO, help me get me period again. Yeah, well, Alexis, she lost 20 pounds in a month with no exercise. Doesn't take any drugs. So at least see what you can see about. We're not against the shots, by the way. But you have to understand, based on medical proof, I've got the medical proof right here in the New England Journal of Medicine. This was a 68-week study on people on GLP-1s, not Zepbound, but on, in this case, semaglutide. After 68 weeks, they only lost 32 pounds, and 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. So congratulations, but your 35 pounds you've lost is 40% of its lean muscle mass. Talk to anybody coming off the shots. They're gaining as much as a half a pound a day. All the shot is a diet. That's it. It's lowering the amount of food you're consuming, but what they're not telling you is you're lowering the amount of nutrition. When you lower the amount of nutrition, your brain will cause your body to burn your fat for fuel. I don't care what you think. That's the medical, I do, but that's the medical proof, okay? So congratulations, but it's not sustainable. There's no one coming off these shots that's been able, they're gaining as much as a half a pound a day. I know because we're working with some of them. And we're not against the shots. They're helping. I don't know if you're diabetic and if you're how overweight you are. That's fine. Our job is to show you the real facts. Would you rather lose 32 pounds in 68 weeks or lose 21 pounds in a month? Or in Julie's case, she lost more weight than you did in 30 days. She lost 35 pounds. The 35 pounds that took you how many months? 10 weeks. She did it in 4 weeks. And look at the difference in her body composition. I have no idea what, And if you want to keep doing the shots, do them. We're not here to talk you out of things, but we're showing you the contrast, okay? Or you got a 65-year-old man here, 40 pounds in a month. 40, that's 10 pounds a week. Excuse me. So don't think this is some diet. Don't think, no, the food list, Kathy, you didn't let me, I'm sorry, I got sidetracks. I was talking to Alexia and everybody else. So now I promise I'm going to show you. So the researchers put together this food list that you would take to your grocery store, but only 30% of what you bought last month, just to let you know, Kathy. The other 70% of the food doesn't come from your grocery store. It comes from these other researchers who've gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, physically went to those locations over 20 years and brought back these foods with huge amounts of nutrition and small quantities of food, including, Kathy, from blue zones where people are living to be 100 years old, right? So now they had the foods. Now here's what they did that was different. They created a new, never tried before way of eating, and they ended up getting a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office for this new way of eating. It's called protein pacing. So 5 days a week, what she did, she actually had 4 meals a day, but instead of calorie amounts, she had serving sizes. You got it? Big difference, huge difference, right? Now the food from your grocery store, only 30%, in a month, only 30% of the food you're going to eat comes from your grocery store. The other 70% from these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, she started each day with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and then a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods. You got it? So you're eating 4 times a day. Now this was very important. They tried things like they had breakfast and dinner. That didn't work. They had people skip breakfast and do lunch and dinner. It didn't work. It was the 4 meals spread out. Now remember, this is only until you lose your weight, right? Then 2 days a week, and here's what separates this from anything you've ever heard of or done before. No food from the grocery store at all. Only these exotic foods around the world, but this time they had her eating 8 times a day. Kathy, she was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. And the results have never been seen before. In a month, for example, diabetics on this, there were no insulin spikes. And for the first time ever, they did really extensive medical research on all these people. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, enzyme analysis, measured inflammation, did all these tests. And they were completely dumbfounded. Number one, the first thing it's not a diet. The number one thing it is a detox. And they proved it through the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. They proved this was removing chemicals from the body. No Zepbound, no keto, paleo, Mediterranean have ever removed a gram of toxins from the body. Now, whether you don't think it, all of you may be questioning this. There's a new medical syndrome, registered trademark U.S. Patent Office, called the TDOS syndrome. Every one of us have it, including me, including you. The T is for the toxic chemicals we are storing in our bodies inside our fat cells. It's not up for debate. We know it. The D is for the deficiency of nutrition in our food, no matter where you live in the world, pretty much. Overweight and stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? That's me. I did discover it. So I'm not just some guy, okay? Let's get that clear. And I'm not trying to brag, and I'm not trying to be, in any way. I just want you to know that I'm only presenting you medical proof. My opinion should mean 0 to you. It doesn't matter. I've written 4 best-selling books and all kinds of other academic accomplishments. Those don't mean anything without peer-reviewed human trial studies, okay? So what else did they find in the studies? In a month's time, the need for insulin among the diabetics, Kathy, came down 41%. But here was the huge one, never before seen. They saw inflammation come down 25% in 30 days. No Zepbound, no Zempic, no GLP-1, no Jenny Craig. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Number 3, she's kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. This protocol that the researchers called R2M, race to maintenance. The whole goal is to get to your goal and then show you how to stay there. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. See, the problem you're going to have with all of these diets, and you can get mad at me, you can think I'm making things up. I'm not. The medical proof is there. 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than what you did when you started on any of these diets. I've got proof. I've got even people like Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. And then I've got Medicare, Title of the study, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Listen to what Medicare said about their analysis of diets. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. That's Medicare telling you whatever diet you're on now, 2/3 are going to weigh more than what you did. You'll notice right above her head, everybody, including you, Kathy, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website to go to. There's nothing on that site to buy, none of my books. The only thing there is the medical proof. And if you like what you see, after you get to see it for free, and we will not contact you unless you contact us. You can scroll down, you get a free coach. It's not a gimmick. There's no other catch. We all got coached. We know how important it is. We're facing a global crisis. The researchers are now saying the greatest threat to mankind in the history of mankind, it's not COVID, it's not viruses, it's obesity. Right now in the world, we have 2.5 billion with a B people overweight, and 1 billion of those are clinically obese. What does that mean? It means that we're in big trouble. It means that the healthcare system is going to collapse unless we come up with a solution. And the solution is, and I'm not even against the shots, but they're a temporary Band-Aid. Because what good does it do? You go on the shot, lose the weight. People are gaining 0.5 pound a week coming off the shot. Talk to any of them. And we know that 40% of what they're losing is lean muscle mass. I know because I'm working with some big spas, and every person, when they do the tests of the main thing they're losing up to 40% is lean muscle mass. I mean, that's just a fact. It's not something I'm making up. I mean, that's what's going on. And all it is a way, the shot slows down the food moving through your digestive tract. You consume less food, meaning you're getting less nutrition. When the brain senses not enough nutrition, I don't give a damn what the name of the diet is, it'll turn your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism and slowing down your own immune system. We have the medical proof to back it up. It's not something that we're making up in our heads. Our job is to help you. Our job is to make you aware of what's available. You know, you can do whatever you want. If you want to still do the shots, if muscle and bone, some young people have osteoporosis. Yes, Kathy, I couldn't agree with you more. So Kathy, or any of you, are you all interested in finding out? Look, let me show all of you, including you, Kathy, the actual website, so you don't think I'm making things up. I don't need to make anything up. Look, the New Health Conversation. Don't you think we need one? There's the link. Click on the link on Google. There's the website. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing there is medical proof, including number one is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. I don't want you to believe me. My job is not to convince you. My job is not to sell you. My job is to make you aware so you can make your own decision. You're all very smart people. I believe, given the evidence, overwhelming evidence, diets just can't work. They don't work. Counting calories is the most ridiculous thing. And whether you're doing carnivore, you're macro counting, you're carb recycling, you're doing keto, whatever, they all fail. There's not one that's working long term. We're getting bigger. I mean, from 1995 to 2025, the obesity rates in the world have doubled. Does that sound to you like diets are working? We don't have time to try to convince you. That's why the website is so important for you to go and see on your own and find out, how did Kristen lose 21 pounds in 38 days? How did Julie lose 35 pounds in 37 days? How did my friend's daughter, April, 60 pounds in 3 months? 60. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. Where's the loose skin? And she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I understand this is so far out of the norm for people. They're thinking, oh, this is made up. It's not. No, it's real. You could change your life. Just wake up. I know it's early in the morning for some of you. I'm in Denver. It's 6:29 in the morning. But I know in New York it's 8:29. I know in California it's 5. Hawaii it's the middle of the night. Look, everybody. I know it sounds too good to be true. So why would you want to listen to me or to us? Because we have the medical proof. My God. These protocols, they're published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. These are peer-reviewed human trial medical studies on human beings, not in a petri dish, not a mouse, a rat, a chimpanzee. No, there is no other. Anybody put in the chat, Kathy or anybody, tell me someone you're following, an influencer, that has one shred of medical evidence. Why are you following them? I don't care if they're nice people, I see them. They have nice stories and they show you before and afters. It's all nonsense. I'll give you one of the biggest myths of all. They'll tell you, for example, oh, you're going to burn fat on this diet. That's a total lie. You can't burn fat on a diet or through exercise. It's proven. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, look it up, or you die with a certain number of fat cells. And those fat cells expand or contract. And what we're doing as human beings, we're ingesting chemicals, whether you know it or not, in the air, the water, and the food. And the body, to protect us, takes that chemical and stuffs it inside what's called your visceral fat. Your visceral fat is the fat around your organs. Look at her, how much she shrank with no exercise. Look at this Curtis, 65-year-old guy, 40 pounds in a month. Look at his stomach. It's almost gone in 30 days with no exercise. At 65 years of age? You think, I'd love for anybody to tell me anything like this on the planet. And the main reason to do it is not to lose weight. That's a throw-in. That's like, okay, we know that's going to happen. No, this is a health system. It's going to upregulate everything. They proved it. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all came down dramatically in a month. The diabetics on this, he's a diabetic. Look at his A1C. Went from 8.4 to 6.4. Do you know at the end of a month, his doctors had to cut his meds by 50% after 30 days? Granted, weight loss was a great part of it. But they have the medical proof to back up what I'm saying. It's all on that website right here. You can see it. Visit the New Health Conversation right above our head. It's a free medical website. We won't even contact you if you go there. What can I do for you? What can I do to get you to understand you're more important than entrusting to some simple explanation? Let me ask you a question. If they're saying in 4 years, 86% of the United States is going to be overweight or obese, if any of these diets worked, any of them, they'd have $1 trillion company. How come we keep adding diet after diet after diet every year? Can anybody tell me a diet you think works long term? There's no medical proof to ever prove it. What are you doing? You're entrusting your health and your future to people giving you opinions. And I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and health coaches and weight loss coaches and workout people, dietitians and nutritionists. They're all singing the same song, calories in, calories out. Oh my gosh, nonsense. They can't produce one shred of evidence showing that calories in, calories out works long term. And what the experts are now saying, things like the deadly delusion of calorie counting, abandoning calorie counting, calories in, calories out forever. Here's what they said. These are the experts. Listen, not me saying this. Listen, pay attention. This could change your whole life. Calories in, calories out is a dangerous fraud. The body completely ignores calories, which are merely a lab-invented unit of energy with no corresponding biological sensor or mechanism. Instead, the body craves essential air, water, and nutrition to function, where hunger acts as a signal for nutrient deficiencies rather than calorie reductions, rendering calorie tracking not just ineffective, but a harmful distraction that perpetuates obesity cycles and dieting failures. These are the top researchers in the world saying abandon calorie counting. And yet, I don't give a darn what diet you're on. That's what you're doing. But really, what are you really doing on a diet? You're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. I don't care how you want to, you may think it's calorie counting. The body can't count calories. The body has no idea what a calorie is. Do any of you know what a calorie is? I'd love for anybody to put in the chat for me, what's a calorie? Oh my gosh, it makes me crazy. People come on and they jump off and they're going to go to they're going to disaster. They're going to these other diets, none of which work. This is medical proof, everybody. What more do you want? I don't want you to believe me. You don't have to believe me. Even if I was some random guy, which I'm not. I've been a nutrition researcher for 23 years. It's not my research. I didn't prove this. They did. The top weight loss researchers in the world. Do you want to listen to them? Or do you want to listen to somebody on social media? Or you're making a decision in 10 seconds that this is not real. This is fake. No, it's not fake. Listen, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. You have to understand, to get published in these journals, you have to be willing to submit your work, not me, I didn't create this, to these medical journals, and then they hire medical doctors and people to discredit what you're proving. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. I know you're going to tell me, yeah, I know they make mistakes, but at least we have a standard. Someone giving you an opinion on social media, that's not a standard. That's good hype, maybe. Do you really believe, any of you, do you really believe that any diet actually works long term? I'd love for you to put it in the chat. And I'm open to any discussion. I really am. This is live. This isn't recorded. It's not AI. It's, 6:35 a.m. in Denver. It's 8:24, August 24th. It's going to be about 85, 90 degrees here today, I guess. I don't know. I'm in my office. It's air conditioned. It's great. Look, everyone, again, please put in the comment, do you really believe that any diet you're on is going to work? And the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. That is a given. That's not even up for debate. The number one reason to do this is detoxification. And what do I mean by that, in case you're coming on late? We now know that we're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals. If you don't think we're living in a toxic world, then you're kidding yourselves. I'll give you some proof. Go and look up microplastics in your brain. 3 months ago, they came out and they said they are finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. But what else are they finding inside our fat cells? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon, all these miracle chemicals that we have in our world are ending up inside our body. And the body, to protect you, is taking those chemicals and stuffing them inside your visceral fat. That's why you all complain to us about how much fat. Look at her stomach on day 1. Let me get out. Look at that. And then look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise. That's detox. That's not the weight loss. And all these people, when you see them lose, like Julie, she lost 35 pounds in 37 days. Where's the loose skin? Look at her whole body is smaller. I mean, you all can believe whatever you believe, but what you're believing has no medical credibility. Whether it's paleo or keto or time-restricted eating or fasting or the Cornish diet or the zone diet or lose weight for your blood type. Do you all open your, go to the malls today. If you're lucky enough to be on vacation, go to the beach. Look at America. This is the reality. Do we just pretend we can't see it, hear it? That doesn't make it go away. And I'm very sensitive. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And I loved her. I lived through fat shaming, all that. I would never do that. We're on your side. We're saying, look, it's not your fault if you're overweight or obese. You just don't have the solution. Now, you may think you do. Oh, I'm going on keto. I'm going on paleo. Oh, I saw so-and-so celebrity. This is the diet they went on. Yeah. Well, none of them work long term. None of them. Talk to anybody on the shots. The minute they come off the shot, they're gaining all their weight back in like a few weeks. It's unbelievable. But it makes sense because every diet is based on the wrong principle, and that is counting calories, which the body can't count. You have to understand there's only 3 things that keep us alive: air, water, not calories, nutrition. That's what these researchers did. They did 100 studies over 40 years of every diet out there. And you know what they concluded? No diet ever worked long term. And 2/3 of every person on every diet gained more weight than they lost. Are you excited about, let me just go back to this. The average is about 5 pounds a week on this. Did you hear me, everybody? 5 pounds a week. How many would be excited about that? And it's backed by 10, wait a minute. It's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, including the Obesity Journal, Frontiers in Physiology, Nutrients, the Nutrition Journal, Frontiers in Nutrition, and Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world. And the study they conducted, had nothing to do with weight loss. The title was "The Gut Microbiome Remodeling and Metabolic Profile Improves Massively in Response to Protein Pacing and Intermittent Nutritional Fasting." This is the #1 medical journal in the world saying that this is real, it's safe, and it does so much more than the weight loss. I know everybody gets excited about the weight loss. I certainly was. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I was in shock. I thought it was going to come back. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's one of the biggest reasons to do this is maintenance. But this is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. Please, someone put it in the chat. Are you in it? Would you like to know how in the world she did that or they did that? Because it's not, look at this. This is a 65-year-old guy, everyone. 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. When are you going to wake up and think your diet, I don't care if it's paleo, keto, Mediterranean, what fancy trainer you have, what gym you're going to, what? None of them work. None of them work. It's just nonsense. And if any of them did work, they're saying in 4 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese in 4 years. Yes, Gaming, we'd like to know how to do it. I'm going to explain it, I promise you, in 1 minute. But does everybody get the context here? Now I'm going to explain to you how they did it. So let's concentrate on Kristen, because this is the reason I like this. She only had, I shouldn't say only, she had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds in 30 days. That's 70% of her goal in just 30 days. Here were some of the things you need to know. One, no exercise allowed. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Number two, no calorie counting. The researchers, they said no calorie counting. And they said the reason diets fail, for all of you, in case you didn't know, is because on a diet what's happening is you're reducing, forget the human body has no idea what a calorie is. So calorie counting, that's why that's out. But number two, what happens on a diet, you probably didn't think about this, when you lower on a diet, you're eating less food. But what else are you getting less of? Nutrition. So the research said, would it be possible to find foods, this is the researchers talking now, where we could give you less food by quantity, but give you more nutrition? Does this make sense to everybody? That was the goal. It was a theory. It was unproven, right? So first thing they did, they put together a grocery list that you would get for free. You take it to your grocery store. Organic foods, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of any calorie amounts, which they're not going to give you, they give you serving sizes. So let's say it was protein, it's how many ounces. If it was vegetables, is it a third or half a cup? It's all laid out. You don't have to, it's all free. The grocery list is obviously free. You're buying that from your grocery store. But only 30% of what you spent last month, you're going to spend this month at the grocery store, leaving you 70% of that money to go to the real heart of why this works and why you can't equal this with any diet you're on. I don't care where you live. These exotic foods that other researchers had found over 20 years. They had physically gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities of food. You got it, everybody, now? 30% from your grocery store, 70% from these exotic foods around the world that the researchers have called the world's most perfect meals nutritionally. Now, why did they say that? Because on this, these nutrients, there's so many of them, that unless you're like on a doctor's prescription for low iron or calcium, you don't need any supplements. These foods supply massive amounts of nutrition. It's just a fact, okay? Then what they did, based on these new food groups, they created a new way of eating. Yeah, you heard. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. Not 3, not 2, not 1. 4 meals a day. Starting with the world's most perfect meal, that's what the researchers call them from a nutritional standpoint, breakfast. No food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store. Dinner from the grocery store with your family, etc. And then a 4th meal after dinner. Again, this world's most perfect meals, 5 days a week. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store. None, zero. The only thing she ate on those days were these the world's most perfect meals, but this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. The diabetics on this, there were no insulin spikes, but let's look into the medical proof, the actual what's in the published peer-reviewed human trial studies that are irrefutable evidence. You can't argue with them. I mean, you can, but it's ridiculous because it's what's called irrefutable medical proof, right? So what did they find? They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, enzymes, muscle, a wide variety of tests. What they found first and foremost is this is a detox. They proved that this was helping the body remove what? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotch-Guard and Teflon and all the chemicals we're all storing inside of us, whether you believe it or not, that's what's going on. That's the number one reason to do it. The number two reason to do it is they also, for the first time ever, brought inflammation down 25% in 30 days. Hi, Linda. They brought inflammation down 25% in 30 days. It's never been seen before. Hunger came down 40% in a month. Because, see, you've never been hungry for calories. Did you ever think about that? Your body has no idea what a calorie is, so how could you be hungry for a calorie? Only thing your body's ever hungry for is nutrition. The researchers, that's what they speculated. So they were giving you huge amounts of nutrition. No one got hungry. There were people who weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry because for the first time in their life. See, the hunger that comes to us is caused by lack of nutrition, not lack of calories. That's, I mean, I know it sounds simple. It's really not. Because see, here's what happens. When you don't have enough nutrition, your brain, because you got to survive, what does the brain and all the organs run on? Not calories, nutrition. So when you don't have enough nutrition on these diets, your brain turns your muscles into fuel slows down your metabolism, and slows down your own immune system. You're literally making yourself unhealthy on whatever darn diet you're on right now. You can pretend, you can think you know, but the medical science doesn't lie. It has no emotions, unlike me. It has no opinion. It has no prejudice. It just is. The proof is this is going to change the world. And she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. How simple is maintenance? This morning, I already had my breakfast, was the world's most perfect meal for breakfast. I'll have lunch in a few hours and I'll have dinner tonight. And then every couple months, because I've lost my weight, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off doing maintenance. And every couple months, I do another of the 48 hours where no food for the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, effectively a detox. It's not up for debate. We have the medical proof and the website for all of you to go to for free. Visit the New Health Conversation. If you go there, we're not going to contact you. What? No, we're not contacting you. Why would we need to contact you? We got the medical proof. If the medical proof doesn't raise your curiosity, there's nothing we can say to convince you. But you get free coaching, but you decide if you want to coach, not us. We're handing you the medical proof. Now you can ignore it and go back to your influence of telling you about time-restricted eating or keto or paleo or Mediterranean. None of it. It's all nonsense. None of it works. They're convincing you that, oh my God, on a diet, losing more than a pound a week is unhealthy, which it is. Why do they tell you that? Because 40% of what you're losing, the weight you're losing, is your lean muscle mass on all these diets. What do you want to do, everybody? Linda, I'll explain it to you in a moment. What do you all want to do? Do you really want to stay on keto, paleo, Mediterranean? Does anybody please put in the chat? Kathy, the world's most perfect meal thing, I include things like 70 trace ionic minerals. In the organic food in this country, the most you get is 20. It includes very high, what's called utilization of amino acids. It includes 22 naturally occurring vitamins, no capsules, lotions, potions, pills, etc. Things like prebiotic fiber. There's over in these exotic foods around the world, Kathy, there's over 400 nutrients. You don't need any supplements if you go on this unless you're on doctor's orders for low calcium, or iron deficiency. So Linda's asking me, what is it? So some other people are saying, what is it? I'm going to expect. I enjoy your knowledge. Oh, thank you, Lake Life. My passion is for all of you. Let me take an aside real quick, and then I promise Linda and everybody else I'm going to explain to you what it is. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And 25 years ago, she called me up one day and said, you know, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend one day thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom did every one of these damn diets. Notice they use the word damn. They'd say, and that's part of the reason I became a researcher. Now, I didn't solve it. I just said something's wrong. I'd see my mom lose 20 pounds, gain 25 back, lose 25, gain 30 back. At the end, she was on so many pills, she had to have a chart for blood pressure, blood sugar, water pills, high cholesterol, I mean, you name it. She dieted herself to death, in my opinion. I'd love to be able, I'm not preventing anything. What I'm doing is I'm making you aware, giving you the knowledge. Now, what you do with it, I already see, people drop off. I haven't even explained it yet. They're already making an assumption that, oh, this isn't real. Hell, yes, it's real. She, as a matter of fact, despite 21 pounds lost, she lost no water weight, they measured it, and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. Now, the researchers aren't against exercise, but for purposes of the studies, they didn't want exercise. Otherwise, you'd say, Linda, that it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. So let's talk about why is this different? Well, the first thing that's different about it, there's no calorie counting. The researchers had done 100 studies over 40 years using organic food, for example, and they never found a diet where not only didn't people keep the weight off, but 2/3 of everybody on every diet in 40 years gained back more weight than they lost. I know you're experiencing that, the yo-yo effect, right? So what they said is the problem with all diets, this will sound simple, but it's not, is that the calorie means nothing to your body. If you don't believe me, I'd love for anybody to give me the medical definition of a calorie. I didn't know what one was 24 years ago before I became a researcher, because I just went with the norm, right? Oh, it's calories in, calories out. Let's have less calories. Well, there's a huge problem with that. Your body has no idea, Linda, what a calorie is. And I guarantee you, I probably won't see anybody. I've had 11 people in a year and 1,000 podcasts I've done give me the actual technical definition of a calorie, and yet you're all counting them. Every diet out there is based on some form of counting calories. But what they don't tell you is what you're really doing is you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, which means what? You're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition, not because there's not enough calories, it goes in starvation mode and immediately begins to convert your muscles into fuel. Well, addition does two of the most unhealthy things to you. One, it slows down your metabolism. You don't have to believe me, just look at the numbers. I mean, Medicare, 2/3 of everybody they studied gained back more weight than they lost on every diet, okay? So the researchers said we need to do something different. And what the difference was, they were going to go find foods with high levels of nutrition. That was the number one criteria. So they put together a grocery list that she got, you got, everyone. The grocery list you take to your grocery store. The grocery store list is free, of course. We're not charging. I mean, people are trying to charge you for recipes. What? Come on. Really? No, the grocery list is free. And what's on the grocery list? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But serving sizes, not calorie amounts, right? But only 30% of what you would spend that you spent last month at the grocery store, you're going to spend this month at the grocery store for the foods you're going to do for a month. And what about the other 70% of the money you haven't spent yet? That goes to other researchers, not the ones who created this, because we don't sell you anything. They don't sell you anything. There's no products here for everybody. This is food. So the other 70% came from these other researchers who'd gone around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition and small quantities of food. So now you had what she was going to eat. And you think, okay, well, that's good. No. Then they invented a new way of eating where they got a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office called protein pacing. What? Yeah. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. Starting with the world's most perfect meals, these nutrients from around the world, that's what the researchers call them, the world's most perfect meal. Breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch, from the grocery store. Dinner, from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner, the world's most perfect meal. Not optional to do 2 meals or 3 meals to 4. They tried all that. They had people like breakfast, skip lunch, and have dinner. Didn't work. Had people skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Didn't work. It was the 4 meals until she lost the weight. 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store. None, zero. Only these exotic foods or world's most perfect meals. This time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. The diabetics on this were freaked out. No insulin spikes. But here's the point. This is the thing about this so unique. They didn't just look at the number on the scale. That's like way down the line. We joke and say the weight loss, yeah, you all get excited about certainly about 5 pounds a day, but not us. What excites us is the medical proof where they did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes, etc., and prove that this is a detox. They measured in blood, stool, urine, and fat the chemicals were coming out of the body, out of the fat cells. That's the number one reason to do it. See, you're all ingesting, me too, we're all ingesting chemicals. There's a new medical syndrome, registered trademark U.S. Patent Office, called the TDOS syndrome. Every one of us have it. T for the toxins, the chemicals stored in our fat cells, driven by the lack of nutrition in our food called deficiency, causing us to be overweight and stressed. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical syndrome that none of you even knew you had before you came on this podcast today. And no diet touches it. No diet's ever shown. All they ever tell you about a diet is the pounds on the scale. That's the least important part. The detox is number one for all of us now moving forward in our lives. Hell, they came out about 2 months ago and said they're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. What are you doing about that? Nothing. Until now. What else did they find? For the first time ever, inflammation, which plagues all of you, came down 25% in 30 days. You think any diet's doing that? Hell no. And also, people's hunger came down 40%. The diabetics on this, their need for insulin came down 41% in a month. And their doctors who were monitoring the diabetics, lots of who were doing this in these studies, they had to cut their meds by 50% in 30 days. But the big thing is maintenance. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. This is not a diet. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. That's what the researchers call it. And how simple is maintenance? My breakfast this morning was the world's most perfect meal. Why the hell wouldn't I put that in my body once a day? I don't take supplements, capsules. No, I just eat these amazing nutrients from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what matters. I mean, you look at this. You agree, Linda, great. And I want you all to understand, visit the New Health Conversation. Let me show all of you. You can go to the website. It's free to go there and we're not going to contact you. Look at the New Health Conversation. Type it in Google. You'll see it'll come to the link in Google next. Hold on. There it is. Click on the New Health Conversation. There's the website. Nothing to buy on that website. The only thing is a medical proof, including number one, is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Not me. It's not my research. Do you think maybe you want to listen to him instead of some influencer on TikTok or on social media that's giving you opinions with no facts? With all due respect, medical doctors, chiropractors, dietitians, nutritionists, weight loss coaches, health coaches, workout people, they don't have any proof. They're still telling you about its calorie deficit, calories in, calories out. Oh my God, it's over. Listen, here's how about Harvard Medical School, everybody? Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. They said, Harvard, we've all been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut 3,500 calories, you lose a pound. But as it turned out, experts are learning this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. And yet you're all counting calories. Why? Why are you counting calories? Because you don't know what else to do. I mean, you all have a chance to change your lives. I can't do that. I don't want you to believe me. Do you believe in scientific proof? Or do you want to follow these nice people that are giving you opinions? Look at my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. Look at her face, arms, where's her loose skin? She doesn't have any. And then you look at someone like Ken, 34 pounds in 29 days. If you think it's Photoshop, you're on the wrong podcast. There's plenty of other people that'll give you opinions. We're not giving you opinions. I don't want you to believe a darn thing that I'm saying. I want to motivate you to go and do your own explanation, the New Health Conversation. The only thing there is the medical proof. There's no hype. My books. I've written 4 best-selling books. There's no books to buy there. We're not selling you books. We're giving you free access, free knowledge to change your life if you're willing to just do a little bit on your own, investigate. Aren't you worth it? Aren't you? And then you're going to get a free coach. You see it. Free consultation, free coaching. It's not just the consultation's free. It's the whole time. Now watch this, everybody. This really makes me happy. 200 pounds in a year. And she's kept it off. Where's the loose skin? She's had no surgery, by the way. No surgery. Look at that, everyone. Well, what do you think? Well, make a comment. What do you think about that? Now, she was happy before, but she's a lot happier now. 200 pounds in a year. You trying to tell me any diet does that? That was my mom, by the way. It's not my mom, but that's kind of how my mom was. She was morbidly obese my whole life. Never knew her thin, never knew her healthy. And 24 years ago, she called me up and said, I have one really big wish in my life. And I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything to spend one day thin. I said, that's cool, Mom. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I believe my mom dieted herself to death. I'm not kidding you. My mom did every kind of diet there was, grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet. She went to Weight Watchers for years. Over and over. She'd lose 20, gain 25 back, lose 25, gain 30 back. I believe she dieted herself to death. That's one of the reasons I became a researcher. I didn't know, because the research only came out in the last 15 months with this proof. Heck, the researchers who created this, they spent 40 years. 100 studies, thousands of people, and never found a diet that ever worked long term. We're not arguing that you can lose weight in the short term. You can lose weight on the Dunkin' Donut diet. You can lose weight on the Coca-Cola diet. But what kind of weight are you losing, and is it sustainable? You're just all kidding yourselves. If you're on this podcast, Gloria or Woman of God or Christio or Mama Say or Jay Mackey or any of you, you could change your lives. But you have to take the initiative. We can't do your push-ups for you. But we're going to coach you for free. Right there, free coaching. That means from the consultation all the way through to maintenance and teaching you how to maintain it. She's kept that 200 pounds off. She's kept it off. And then look at this couple. This is so great. Well, Michael lost 15 pounds and she lost 10 pounds in 11 days when they started. But look at this. In 5 months, they each lost over 60 pounds each. And they've kept it off for 2.5 years. This is real, everybody. I don't know. I don't want you to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Yeah, I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years and 4 best-selling books and 20 shows on PBS, 1,500 live lectures. I've spoken in universities and hospitals and towns. That meant nothing for 22 years in the medical world. I had before and afters like you're seeing on social media. But in the medical world, that means zero. Thank goodness. No drug would ever get approved without going through a peer-reviewed human trial study. This went through peer-reviewed human trial studies, and it's published in the 10 biggest medical journals in the world. Who has a question about this that I can answer? And my follower, Virginia, joined from the Post. Thank you very much. Julie joined. Hello. Honestly, everybody, this is for all of you, for crying out loud. But it's not just you. I'm sure you know you have a sibling or a friend or a cousin or brother or husband or somebody. I mean, if we're looking in 4 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. And what are they going to do? Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, count your macros, carb recycling, carnivore. I don't care what it is. It doesn't work long term. Am I making sense, everybody? Would anybody like to make a comment? I mean, what I think is so amazing, let's take a look at Curtis again. That's a 65-year-old man. He lost 40, it's not fake. He lost 40.8 pounds in 4 weeks, in 30 days. That's 10.2 pounds a week. You all know on diets, be honest, put it in the chat. I don't know why people, they maybe think I'm mean. I'm a very nice person. We're here we're going to coach you for free. What would be my agenda? There's nothing to buy from us. We don't have any products. There are no products. It's food and a new way of eating. And yet people jump off. I just joined, so a little lost. What are you explaining? Okay, Ruth. Here's what I'm explaining. This new protocol, that's not a diet, it's a detox, where people are losing on average, Ruth, just to give you an idea, 5 pounds a week. Now, I have no idea if you want to lose weight, etc. The thing that is so different about this, these results are published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. There is no other plan you're following diet that's published in peer-reviewed human trial studies. And this is not a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. I'll explain to you in just a moment exactly what she did to create that. But it's not just her, Ruth. Look at this. This is Julie. 35 pounds in 37 days. And then you look at my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. And then I was showing you Curtis, a 65-year-old man, 40 pounds in a month, 52 inches in 30 days. And they've all kept it off for 8 or 9 years. So I'm going to explain to you now what is this? Okay, so first of all, it's not a diet. Secondly, they won't even let you count calories on this. Calorie counting is one of the most ridiculous, silly things we've ever done. Why? Because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. It can't count calories. Your hunger is not based on calories. Your hunger is based on one principle, nutrition. And there's no products here, Ruth. There's no lotions, potions, pills, capsules, shots. No. This is food. But the researchers picked the foods for us, and they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They created this. It's called R2M, Race to Maintenance. I'm going to go over all that. It'll take me about a minute or two, so please don't get impatient with me. So what the researchers said, we're going to go find foods with large amounts of nutrition. That was their goal. So they put a grocery list together for you, for her, for everybody. You would take it to your grocery store, Ruth. What was on the list? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But whatever you spent last month on groceries total, you're only going to spend 30% this month. That's it for these foods. But that's only 30% of what you would buy and consume. So the other 70% of your money will pay for, or just about pay for, these other foods found by other researchers who spent 20 years, Ruth, going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities of food. Keep in mind, the rule was they had to have high nutrition. They did both. They found foods that were high in nutrition and not high in quantity necessarily. Okay, got that? Then they invented a new way of eating. I'm not kidding you. They actually got a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, on how to eat this new way. So here's what they did. 5 days a week, it's called protein pacing, by the way. 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day. She started with these, what the researchers call the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint, with those nutrients you can't buy at your grocery store. They come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Some of the nutrients you'd be taking come from these blue zones where people living to be 100 years old. I don't know about you, but I want some of that stuff, right? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, starting with the world's most perfect meal, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after you normally had your dinner, the world's most perfect meals. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store at all, only these world's most perfect meals. But this time they had her eating 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. The diabetics on this, no one had insulin spikes. So let's look at the medical proof. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat, the researchers now. So blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes, a massive battery of tests on the people doing this. One of the things that was shocking, number one, she lost no water weight. She was not allowed to exercise. Despite that, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. Most women on this are losing a whole dress size in 7 days. Most men 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week with no exercise. I mean, that's in a week. That's not in 7 weeks. That's in a week, okay? So the biggest thing about this was when they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved this was helping the body get rid of the chemicals stored in the fat cells. See, in case you didn't know, we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. There's a new medical syndrome called TDOS that you and me and every person, Ruth, on the planet has. The T is for toxins. The D is for nutritional deficiency of nutrition. O for being overweight. S is for stress. And those all lead to one thing, inflammation. So they measured inflammation. First time in history, it came down 25% in a month. You have inflammation. I have inflammation. Our kids have inflammation. Everybody has inflammation. So that in and of itself was remarkable. The third thing about this, it's maintaining. She lost that weight 8 or 9 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. But all of you, please put in the chat, if you don't think we're lying to you, if you don't think we Photoshop, what do you think about losing 5 pounds a week safely and with no exercise, gaining lean muscle? Of course you can exercise if you want to. Also notice, visit the New Health Conversation. That's the free medical website. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. And if you like what you see, we won't contact you if you go there. Don't think you're going to get a call from us. No, we don't do that. We're scientists. We don't need to do that. We don't need to convince you. We're not there to twist your arm or sell you. We're there to educate you. And the coaching is 100% free the whole time. We all got coached. And we got all kinds of people volunteer to become coaches. So their cousin, their brother, their wife, their friends, somebody they work with, all were saying, how did you do this? Our biggest challenge is we only have so many coaches. But what's happening is many of the people that decide to do this say, listen, my mom, my kid, is asking me about this. So we teach them how to coach. Now, we make it even easier, though, because the researchers, and you would all get this for free, created this. It's called the Blueprint for Success. And each one of these, Ruth, are daily videos from the researchers, not from us, explaining to you, this is why it's safe. This is why you want to do this in this sequence. It's very, very important that you follow it the way. Why wouldn't you want to do what they did in the medical trials? Why, in the medical studies? Why wouldn't you want to create what she created? It's not hard. It's different. And you get coached for free. And that coach, by the way, they're live. They're going to call you, text you, email you, determine how. They're there for you the whole time because the goal is to get you to maintenance. I mean, think about it. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I don't even think about it. And maintenance is so simple. Every morning I have the world's most perfect meal for breakfast. I'm going to have lunch in a few hours. I'll have dinner tonight. And then every couple months I do another 48-hour where I eat only the exotic foods around the world for 2 days. And it makes me feel fantastic. It's a detox. None of you have any idea how much better you could feel. You're going to get mad at me when I tell you this. As a matter of fact, right now you have no idea how bad you do feel because you don't understand how good you could feel. We're accepting less than lifestyles. Oh, I'm getting older. I don't have the energy. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm up 16, 17 hours a day. My friends they're ready to retire. Retire from what? Your life? Our health is our most important asset. And you're entrusting your health via your weight loss to influence nice people without one shred of medical evidence. What are you doing that for? Why are you doing that? And we're providing, hello, Carol. I am saying hi, Carol. I'm sorry, I just saw your note over there. I'm so concentrated, everybody, on what I'm doing because I know I've got a really short, you all want me to explain it to you in 5 seconds. It's not possible. You want this result? You want to know how to lose 5 pounds a week and keep it off for the rest of your life? I hope so. So who would like to ask me a question? We got lots of, and come on, let's get some more taps. We're only at 272 likes. I've hit 20,000 before. Come on, everybody. Is this of value to you or not? Or am I just some guy yakking? I'm not just some guy. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I appeared 20 times on public broadcasting, 1,500 live lectures in hospitals, in universities, in towns. Heck, they even flew me to China. I was a keynote at Autism One in Chicago 2 years in a row, the biggest autism conference in the world. That doesn't mean anything. I don't want you to believe me. Because you know what? For 22 of my 23, now almost 24-year career, in the medical world, all these before and afters, all this kind of stuff, you know what it meant in the medical world? 0. And yet you're following these influences. Can anybody tell me a diet you're following that has any medical proof behind it? And evidenced by the fact that Johns Hopkins Medical School is saying in 4 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. What delusion are you under that diets work? Please tell me, anybody, a diet you think works. I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm open to discussion. But if you come on and want to discuss with me, unless you have a peer-reviewed human trial study to back up what you're saying, you're wasting your time. I know because I did it for 22 years. Nobody in the medical world would even take a look at this. You know what they said? Oh, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. Well, it isn't a diet, number one. And number two, that's their opinion. Because on diets, I'm telling you right now, 25 to 40% of what you lose, I don't care what the name of the diet is lean muscle mass. Let me give you some examples. So this is a big compilation of studies by researchers, right? And what they looked at, here are the diets or the diet groupings they looked at. Thousands of people in 12 months. Low-fat diets, low-carb diets, keto diets, carnivore diets, macro-counting diets, and time-restricted eating, where you don't eat, you fast for 16, eat for 8. What were the results in 12 months? These are not I'm reading from the medical proof, everybody. The least amount of weight loss on any diet in a year was 11 pounds. In a year, that's not even a pound a month. The most amount of weight loss was 16 pounds in a year. And this time-restricted eating that's a big buzz now, what a bunch of nonsense. In 12 months, the weight loss was around 10 to 12 pounds in a year. That's a pound a month. But on every diet, the researchers said 25 to 40% of the 11 pounds or the 16 pounds was lean muscle mass. They're all going to gain all their weight back. It's not up for debate. The studies prove it over and over again. Here's Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers reviewed many long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you all doing and why? Again, I'd love for anybody, what about the premise of fasting to look? Ruth, no. Ruth, let me show you medical proof. Look at Curtis. Look at his A1C. Went from 8.4 to 6.4 in a month. But here's what you can't fake, Ruth. When they measured in the diabetics, their need for insulin, exactly what you're talking about, it went down 41% in a month. No fast, anything. No, this is fasting with nutrition. That's what you have to understand. You're getting very small quantities of food from these exotic locations in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. But they have high amounts of nutrition. Ruth, that's old thinking. I'm not saying you weren't, what they told you was what they thought. But this new science blows it away. We got another diabetic. Look at Andy. 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days, Ruth. Look at his A1C from 7.9 to 6.2. Look at his bad cholesterol, 120 to 59. Let's go back to Curtis. Look at his triglycerides. They went from 242 to 124 in a month. No fast has ever produced anything like this. Also, no fast has ever produced any evidence that it's removing chemicals from the body. It's the number one reason to do this is to detox, Ruth. Not to lose weight. It's a given. Look at the weight loss. I mean, come on, Ruth. 60 pounds in 3 months. 60? That's averaging 5 pounds a week. Ruth, honestly, on any diet, what would you expect to lose in a week? Be honest with me. I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm just curious what your opinion is. So you're absolutely correct. I lost 20 pounds on a low-calorie diet, gained it all back plus 5. Derek, yes, my point is, I'm on your side, everybody. Do you get it? We have no products to sell. We have nothing to sell you. We're going to educate you for free. Why? Because we got educated. This saved my life 23 years ago. Can you imagine I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks? And I kept thinking every week, every month it was going to come back. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, we didn't even have, the research wasn't even there back then. Hadn't even been done yet. You have all an incredible, look, you think she's happy and she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years? 60 pounds in 3 months, no loose skin, look at her face, arms. You can think it's photoshopped. If you do, you're on the wrong podcast. This podcast is there for all of you to change your lives. And I just get sick in my stomach. Yeah, I read chat. Absolutely, Pip just put it in there. But what's so different about this? It's published in 10 of the biggest medical studies in the world. Listen to this. This research was published in the Obesity Journal, the #1 obese journal in the world. In 2024, it came out. It was the #1 downloaded medical research in the whole world on diets, exercise, and nutrition. I mean, what more proof do you want? I don't know. I don't have any more than that. But you're following these influencers that aren't giving you any proof. None. Zero. Please tell me if you see anybody doing it. Ruth, so tell me how does, Ruth, I went over it, didn't I? I'm going to do it again, I promise. But Ruth, listen to me carefully. The reason you should be frustrated by anything you're seeing on the internet, Ruth, have you seen anybody show you a peer-reviewed human trial medical study published in the biggest medical journals in the world? Have you seen it? See, that's what separates this from everything else. So maybe you should reach out to some of the influencers and try to collab with them. Pipkus, I'm so busy. I'm doing like 3 or 4 of these a day. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be open to that, but right now I'm confining this to, we've started this movement, the New Health Conversation. We have a lot of people joining us, but all I can tell you, I just joined the chat. What's the secret? Terrence Flood. I promise I'm going to show you here in just a moment. And Ruth, I'm going to show you, okay? All right, well, everybody just give me, now here's all I'm asking all of you. It'll take me 2 or 3 minutes to explain this. It's not a diet. There are no products to buy. There was no exercise allowed. She wore a Fitbit to prove she wasn't exercising. Do the math. She lost 5 pounds a week. She only had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 70% of her weight in a month. But she's not the only one. You look at Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. You look at my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. You look at Curtis, a 65-year-old man, 40 pounds in a month, 52 inches. Look at his blood work, A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. So let's come back and take a look now at what did she do. The researchers who invented this, I want to clarify, they're rated the #1 weight loss, nutrition, physiologists in the world. For some of you who don't know what a physiologist is, they study the nutrients once they enter the body. It's very rare. It's not a dietitian, it's not a nutritionist, it's in a whole different category of science investigation. They're the ones that created this, not me. I had nothing to do with it. We're simply bringing you the medical proof, okay? And all of you can go right above our head, visit the New Health Conversation. So Pipkiss or Terrence or any of you, you're more than welcome. So you're not selling anything, you're just doing this, the goodness. No, you'll find out. You'll find out. We have nothing to sell you. You're buying, let me explain to you what you're doing first, okay? Then you'll get it. Okay, so everybody wants to know, what did they do? What did the researchers do? Well, the researchers, after 40 years and 100 studies, figured that they've never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. Got it? So they said, we got to abandon calorie counting altogether because calorie counting is ridiculous, like Pipkiss or Terrence or any of you. Can you give me the medical definition of a calorie? You're all counting calories. Guess who can't count calories? Your body. So the research said, we got to do something different. We're going to abandon calorie counting and go with one principle. Because see, your body, you're alive because of 3 things: air, water, not calories, nutrition. So what they did, they said, we're going to find foods, we're going to find them with high levels of nutrition. That was their #1 goal. So you would get Terrence or Pipkiss or Ruth, you're going to get a grocery list, literally a grocery list that you take to your grocery store, organic food. Keep in mind, you're buying from the grocery store. We don't have a grocery store. We don't have a company. We don't do that. In that list are proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, the exact list they used in the medical studies. You're doing exactly what they did in the medical trials. Why would you do anything different, right? And those foods on that list include proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie amounts, serving sizes. So 30% of what you're spending, your own money, not buying from us, not buying from the researchers, you're buying from your grocery store. The other 70% of the money you have left pretty much pays for these other foods you buy directly from these other researchers who for 20 years have gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find nutrients with huge amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities of food. And those are nutrients you can't buy at your local grocery store, even if it's organic. The researchers for 40 years had used organic in all these studies. Nobody ever lost weight and kept it off. In 40 years on 100 studies, thousands of people. So the difference now was the goal was large amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities of food. And they invented a new way of eating, Terrence and everybody else, okay? Where a large calorie is the amount energy needed to raise the temperature. Beautiful, Pipkiss. You now are 12 people in a year who's ever gotten that definition right. Everybody understand, he got it. What is a calorie? A calorie, well, I'll give you a simpler definition. It's basically the amount of heat that it takes to raise a kilocalorie 1 degree Celsius. It's not a real thing. Your body can't count them. Way to go, Pipkiss. That's great. But let me finish, everybody. So what they did, they had the foods. Then they invented a new way of eating. So Pipkiss and Terrence, they actually got a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Granted them a trademark of this new way of eating called protein pacing. So 5 days a week, you'd eat 4 times a day, 4 meals a day, starting with the world's most perfect meals. That's what the researchers call them. That's your breakfast. No food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from the world's most perfect meals. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store at all. Only these world's most perfect meals. But this time, you'd eat 8 times a day. You're eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. Now, before you get excited, if you're a diabetic, there were no insulin spikes. Now, let me explain to you what also made this so different. This is published, by the way, in the medical studies. You can see the medical studies on that website for free. No gimmicks. What they proved through blood, stool, urine, fat, enzyme analysis, muscle analysis, etc. This is a detox. They proved this is removing or helping the body remove herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon out of the body. There are no diets ever touched this. Never. And all of you, including you, Pipkiss, including you, Terrence, all suffer from this medical syndrome, including me, called TDOS. T is for the toxins stored in our bodies. D is for the nutrition deficiency. O for being over, and S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, that's me. I did discover it. That's why I'm telling you that. If you think you're walking around and you're not storing chemicals in your body, you're on a different planet than me. What our body's doing to protect us. We're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. As they enter our body takes the chemical and stuffs it inside what's called our visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. That's why you all complain, not just how much weight you've gained, but how much fat you have in your body. Hell, the body's trying to protect us. They prove this. Look at her stomach. On day 1, look at it on day 30. That's with no exercise. She detoxed her body, and they have the medical proof to back it up. So the number one reason to do this is not to lose weight. We've got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids, no gallbladders. They're all losing weight like crazy. Because if you can get the toxins out of those fat cells will shrink. See, people tell you burn fat on a diet or exercise. Total lie. No. Google it. You're born with a certain amount of fat, you die with a certain amount of fat, and those fat cells expand and contract over your lifetime. And unfortunately, in most of you, it's expanding. You know it. Do you know in this, most women lost a whole dress size in a week with no exercise? Men lost 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week. I lost 8 inches off my waist in 14 days, 23 years ago. I went from a 42 to a 34-inch waist. I'm still a 34-inch waist today. I've maintained my weight for 23 years, 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. So a huge reason to do this is maintenance. What else? For the first time ever in history, they measured Inflammation came down 25% in a month. Every one of us, the underlying cause of every disease out there, according to the medical world, is inflammation. What are you doing about lowering inflammation in your body? Nothing. Until now. That's why to do this, weight loss, you notice, is way down the line. Now, how simple is maintenance? Tell you how simple. This morning, my breakfast was the world's most perfect meals. The other thing, the research has said, unless you're on a doctor's prescription for low iron or calcium, you don't need any supplements. These foods from around the world, some of them come from these blue zones where people live to be 100 years old. You don't need lotions, potions, pills, whatever. So again, back to who is Pipkus. Now do you understand? We have nothing to sell. Nothing. We got coached. We're nutritional researchers. That's why I've written 4 books, did 20 shows on PBS and 1,500 live lectures, trying to educate. Hell, they even flew me to China, for crying out loud. I was a keynote at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world. Because in case you didn't know, every autistic child has severe gut issues. And we have a major study right here, published in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world. It had nothing to do, with the weight loss. They analyzed the gut microbiome remodeling and metabolic profile improves drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting. Notice I said intermittent nutritional fasting. That's what you're doing on the 48 hours. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. You're fasting with nutrition. We have the proof, for credit. We have the proof. You can all see it on the website. If you go to the New Health Conversation, it's right there for all of you to see. Ruth, you're buying 30% from the grocery store. The other 70%, yes, you're buying from those researchers, the exotic foods. You can't buy them in your grocery store. Oh, I should also tell you this, everybody, even better. The 70% of what you're going to spend in a month to buy those exotic foods, those suppliers, not us, we have nothing to do with it, they'll give you 100% of your money back if it doesn't work. Can anybody show me anything like that? Where does it exist? Ruth, 100% money back guarantee on those exotic foods. I mean, how much fairer can it be? Nothing's 100%, of course, but it's so rare when anybody wants a refund. Now, the 30% from your grocery store, they're not going to give you a refund. But think about it. And you're going to get coached for free. How much is the coaching? 0. And people are jumping off. Why? What's your solution? Anybody who's not sticking around to find out about this, what is your solution? I don't know, Terrence. I have no idea. Goofballs. Oh yeah, it is road bike. You're full of it. Absolutely. The major medical trials are in the Nature Communication. So we're going to just say goodbye to you because I just don't like it when people come on and they spread nonsense. No, the New England Journal of Medicine is not the #1 journal, by the way. Okay. And the New England Journal of Medicine, just to let you know, did a 68-week study, 68 weeks. That's a year and 4 months on the shots. In this case, semaglutide, and show you how great that is. In a year, in 68 weeks, people lost 32 pounds and 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. The New England Journal of Medicine is not the number one and 2 journals in the world are the Lancet and Nature Communications. So go look at it. It's ranked. You can see it in all the major drug trials. Nature Communications is 1 or 2. So okay, maybe it's not 1 all the time, but it's 1. So you're wrong again. I mean, I don't know if you're wrong again, but you're certainly wrong in this case. I'm a gut. Oh, you really are? Oh, really? Well, we wrote the damn book on the microbiome called Your Third Brain. Oh, wow. I wrote it with the top oncologist and molecular biologist in the whole damn world. So don't tell me you're a microbiome analyst. We wrote the damn book on the microbiome, so don't give me that crap. It's just so silly. I love it when people come on. I don't mess around. Did you write a book on the microbiome? Have you been on PBS? Have you done 20 shows on PBS? Have you lectured all around the world? Have you been a keynote speaker at Autism One in Chicago about the microbiome in autistic children? I don't think so. Congratulations. Okay, so let's see. No, you're being silly. I'm just going to laugh out loud, liar. You're just an idiot. You are. Sorry to tell you. You're a total idiot. So anyway, for the rest of you that would like to know how to change your life, how much does this cost? Ruth, you're going to spend about what you did last month, total amount of money spent. That's about all you're going to spend. From 30% of the food at the grocery store and the other 70% from these exotic foods from around the world. You know what I'm saying? Oh, really, road bike? Really? Peer-reviewed human trial studies or irrefutable evidence. Okay, road bike, what's your solution? In 4 years, 86% of America is going to be overweight or obese. Tell me what your solution is, Mr. Smarty. What's your solution? Where's your medical proof behind it? Show me a peer-reviewed medical study behind any diet you're going to propose. What would it be? So before you start throwing around insults, okay, how many books have you written? How many times did you appear on PBS? How many times have you appeared at national major conferences? I've worked with the top oncologists, molecular biologists, geneticists. One of my friends is the geneticist who discovered the gene that causes aging. Was that you? Did you discover it? Huh. I mean, it's just silly. Again, tell me this guy is a quack. Really? Really? You think you get on PBS 20 times if you're a quack? Really? I guess. You can have whatever opinion you want. Opinions don't matter. But for the rest of you, if you're interested, you can go to see the medical proof right there at the New Health Conversation. I mean, all these people coming on give me opinions, and yet we're staring down in 4 years, Johns Hopkins Medical School. 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like diets are working for any of you? For anybody? Talk to me. I'm interested. I have some food allergies. This is why I ask. Again, that's why you want to get a coach, and they'll go over all that with you. I mean, most people with food allergies, it depends what they are, of course. I mean, there's no peanuts in there or anything like that. I mean, these are exotic foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and they come from some of them blue zones where people live to be 100 years old, and nothing is perfect. Nothing is 100%. That's for darn sure. So, again, Terrence, you asked, what's the website? It's right there above. You can see it in blue above her head, the New Health Conversation. The New Health Conversation is the medical website where you can go. Oh, go give it a rest. Give it a rest, okay? Just take the day off. Go watch football. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I never said PBS was peer-reviewed. The point is you don't get on there. They do vet you to make sure that what you're saying is real. You can have you have no solution for the obesity crisis, which is the biggest threat to mankind, according to the researchers. How many medical studies have you published? I didn't publish any. We're the researchers of the research. We're bringing the research to the world. I mean, all I know is that our book, Your Third Brain, was reviewed in the Townsend Letter, which has been around for 70 years. And they said it's the #1 book they've ever analyzed and it will change the world. We proved that the microbiome is a lot more than a collection of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and yeast and microbes. I don't have time for this nonsense, okay? You keep whatever opinion you want. But unless you can show me how to lose weight and show me a peer-reviewed human trial medical study published in one of these huge journals like Obesity or Nutrients or Nature Communications. The researchers who did this are rated, and if you know anything about ratings, it's called the H-index. So a top researcher, they don't go 0 to 100, the ratings, a 20 is a really high research. A 30 is someone who won a Nobel Prize. The top researcher here, his rating is 46, the #1 in the world. I don't think that's you. So although you may have opinions, those are fine, but this is not the same. And again, you can't produce for me a diet or an approach that has a peer-reviewed human trial study ever showing that anybody, listen, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. That's not my opinion. They're saying, the reviewers, our researchers at Medicare studied long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare saying that. That's not me. I'm not giving people opinions. So again, it's like whatever people want to think. So Terrence or Pipkus or any of you, you're welcome to go at any point. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation, and see the medical proof. So who else would like to ask me a question about how did she do this? How did my friend's daughter lose 60 pounds in 3 months with no loose skin and lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, or Curtis, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days, A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. There's nothing to compare this to. There's nothing to compare this to. And the fact that Nature Communications gut microbiome remodeling metabolic improved drastically in response to this protocol. That's all I can go by. Who else would like to ask me a question? Good, Ruth. And you see the website there, right, Ruth? Hold on, everybody. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. It's right there above her head. That's the free website. You just click on there, go there, and if you like what you see, you get a free coach. Okay? So who else would like to ask me a question? I know we keep getting new people all the time. I'm more than happy to go over the protocol. Basically, you're losing 5 pounds a week. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So all the chatter, all the outside noise, all these opinions, they don't have a damn shred, they don't have a leg to stand on. They can't show me a peer-reviewed human trial medical study that shows any diet has ever produced anything like this, because it's not even a diet. And they did the most advanced analysis. They measured what's called C-reactive protein and interleukin-1, which are two of the primary biomarkers for inflammation. It came down 25% in a month. The need for insulin among the diabetics came down 41% in a month. And people want to keep arguing the point that in 4 years, if 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese, does that sound like the solution is out there? This is the solution. And it is backed by published in 10 of the big medical journals in the world. They're peer-reviewed human trial studies. They're done on human beings. I mean, there's no higher standard in medical investigation than that. So who else would like to ask me a question? Yes, Ruth, you have a nice day too. So again, any of you, would you like to know how she did that? Please put it in the chat. I'm happy to, I'm happy to answer the question for you. My limitation is my voice. I try to do 4 of these live podcasts a day, and depending on how many questions or comments or people that want to argue with me, my voice, I've now been at 1 hour and 26 minutes, so I can go a little bit longer. Then I do need to rest my voice, and I'll come back on around noon Eastern Standard Time today. Excuse me. Maybe a little earlier, just depending on how I do things. So who else? Mama or Seattle Sue, would you like to ask me a question? So are any of you interested in, how about 5 pounds a week? Or how about Curtis, everybody? How about 10 pounds a week and 52 inches in 30 days? A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. I mean, it's just really interesting that we're now in a crisis and people still want to go back to what doesn't work. What doesn't work is calorie counting, because the body has absolutely no idea what a calorie. Look at this, everybody, 200 pounds in a year. And she kept it off. But look, no loose skin, no surgery of any kind. You think there's anything like this on the planet? Tell me what it is. But if you're going to show me what it is, you need to have a peer-reviewed human trial study. Otherwise, it's complete nonsense. Why would you believe an opinion? I don't want you to believe me. I've said it 1,000,000 times. It's not my research. But you can see the research. It's the New Health Conversation. It's right there. I mean, when you're talking about the number one, I mean, the head researcher here who did this research has now been cited 9,400 times by the top weight loss experts in the world, saying they've cracked the code on obesity. If there's a bigger challenge the experts are saying that obesity is the biggest challenge to mankind since the dawn of time. We've got 2.5 billion people worldwide overweight, and 1 billion of those are clinically obese. So again, I'm still waiting for people to come on. They want to give me opinions. But where are their facts? Where are their medical studies showing that any diet works? There's no diet ever studied that works long term that we can find, that we've seen. So, who else would like to ask me a question? The answer I found online. Oh, the answer for calories, Pipkus, if you're still there. Well, good. I'm glad. You're the only one that's ever got it right. Not the only one. There's 12 people that have actually gotten it right in a year. So who else would like to ask me a question about, are you curious? Let's go back to this is more normal. 5 pounds a week, 38 inches in just 30 days. I mean, it's just, I think it's amazing when you're trying to do something really good for humanity. It'd be different if we had a product to sell. If we were selling lotions, potions, pills, elixirs, whatever. I guess then that would be a whole different discussion. But we're the researchers of the researchers. We're bringing you the research for free. And then you get to make a decision. Because if you go to the website, for example, we're not going to contact you. The only way we'll contact you is if you scroll down and you get a free coach. The coaching, it says right there, free coaching. Why is that not great? Who else is doing that for you? You're still hanging around. I mean, again, I have lots of critics that want to come on and spar with me. But they can't produce any peer-reviewed human trial studies showing that diets work, let alone the kind of analysis here where they prove this is a detox, where they lowered inflammation, where they changed all these biomarkers, where, listen to this, most women on this lose a whole dress size in the first week. Most men lose 2 to 4 inches out their waist in a week, not 7 weeks. So again, you have to make a decision for yourselves. If you want to believe these influences without one shred of medical evidence or see the opinions that people want to make and comment on the comment section, that's up to you. My job is not to convince you. My job is not to sell you. My job is to educate you and make you aware of what's available. I mean, it's that simple. So, who else would like to ask me a question? Anybody? And can we get a few more times? We're at 1,000 likes. That's pretty good, but let's see if we can get some more. We're at 1,000 likes. So there's about 10 of you on here right now. Does anybody want to know how she did this? I'll stretch my voice out for another 5 or 10 minutes to explain it to all of you. But you don't have to listen to me. You can go to the website, visit the New Health Conversation, and see the medical proof. I'll show you the website, everybody. Look at this. You go to Google, you type in the New Health Conversation, and there it is, the New Health Conversation. And there's nothing on that website to buy. Only thing there's a medical proof, including number 1 is an exclusive podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. They have no products to sell. They're scientists. They've spent 40 years, 100 experiments, or 100 studies on human beings over all that time. They never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. Now, that may make you mad. You may have your own opinions, but where are the facts? Unless you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it means nothing. It's nonsense. And people, like I said, people want to come on and they definitely want to take me on. I tell them all the time, it's not my research. All we're doing look, when you've got the New England Journal of Medicine, okay, and they do a 68-week study on semaglutide, one of the GLP-1s, we're not against the shots. Let me clarify that. We're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and they're helping people that are morbidly obese. But let's compare it to this protocol. This was 68 weeks, everyone. That's a year and 4 months on semaglutide, right? Once weekly semaglutide in adults that are overweight or obese, okay? After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. She lost 21 pounds in a month and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. All we want to do, you make your own decision. We're not here to try and convince you. And then let's look at the overall, this is the Journal of the American Medical Association, a 12-month study where they looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people. Title of the study was Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Adults. So they named all the major diets that they analyzed in 7,000 people in 12 months. Keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, zone diet, the Cornish diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, on and on and on. Atkins. In 12 months, the weight loss was 16 pounds, and 25 to 40% of what people lost was lean muscle mass. She lost 21 pounds in a month, lost no water, and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Which one would you choose? Those are the medical facts. It's not something I'm making. I didn't do the studies. I'm just quoting from the studies. So who else would like to ask a question? Or not? All right. Well, anyway, look for me. I'm on. I try to be on at least 4 times a day. And maybe I'll come back on before noon Eastern Standard Time. Maybe I can come back on around 11-ish or 11:30 at the latest. I'm going to try and do 5 or 6 of these today. This is my first one. We're now at 1 hour and 34 minutes on this podcast. But I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope at least you'll go and investigate for your own benefit the new health conversation, okay? All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, evening, tomorrow, wherever you are in the world. I know this podcast goes all over the world, and I look forward to having you go and see what you think. But if you go to the new health conversation, we will not contact you. Be clear. You have to contact us. Well, Pipkus, I've already been on PBS 20 different times. And now, obviously, developing this, my podcast is really reaching people all over the world. I have people in, well, they're tuning in from all over, from New Zealand and Australia, from Korea, from Manchuria, from the EU, the United States. But I want you to understand, Pipkus, it's not my research. Our job is to make the research available to you. So Pipkus, what do you think about what I've shared with you so far? Do you feel like it's opened your eyes? Do you feel like you learned something? Do you think it's real? Do you think we're photoshopping? Do you think we're making things up? Because we're not. So I'm just real curious about your comment. Because again, I appreciate the fact you went and looked up what a calorie is. So that's 12 people, Pipkus, in over 1,000 podcasts I've done in the last 12 months. Over 1,000 I've done. Isn't that shocking? So all of you, you're counting calories, and yet you have no idea what a calorie even is. Well, now you do through thanks to our great friend here, Pipkus. So a calorie is a unit of energy used in science and nutrition, where a large calorie, killer calorie, is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So it's actually the temperature. It's not energy. I guess you could say that as well. But the simpler version for most people is it's simply the amount of heat it takes to raise a kilocalorie 1 degree Celsius. That's it. But the body can't count calories. Pipkus, the body has no idea what calories are. So, well, maybe you're gone and you can't. It is confusing. You mean what a calorie is? I think that's what you were saying before, and good luck on PBS. But I'm not sure if you're still here or not. All right. Well, anyway, I guess maybe you're gone. So I'm going to sign off now, everybody. And like I said, I'll do my best to come back at 11 or 11:30. But in the meantime, you're all free to go to the website for free. There's nothing on there to buy. It's only the medical proof, and then you can get a free consult if that's what you want. Okay, everybody? I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope you will go to the website, the new health converse. Oh. No, road bike, that's actually completely wrong. Let me read to you to bring you up to speed. Thermodynamics. For decades, the conventional wisdom surrounding weight loss has been dominated by a simplistic formula: eat less, move more. This advice has been framed around the idea that calories as units of energy can be managed like a straight 40 equation: calories in, calories out. But if this is true, then why are 80% of Americans overweight and 2 billion people in the world are overweight? The answer lies in the deep biological complexities that govern our bodies, which are far more intricate than the laws of thermodynamics and physics. At the heart of the calorie theory is the first law of thermodynamics, which asserts that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. This principle applies to a closed-loop system where energy is conserved. However, the human body is not a closed-loop system. It is constantly interacting with the environment, expelling heat, sweat, releasing waste. This makes the first law wrong. The second law, simply put, our body is constantly losing energy in ways that aren't captured by thermodynamics. This is where the second law of thermodynamics comes into play, which describes entropy, the measure of energy that cannot be used for work. In biological systems, energy dissipation and inefficiency are constant. So your argument is wrong. Thermodynamics is in a closed loop system. Forget it. Whatever you're thinking is nonsense. Nonsense. Thermodynamics does not apply to a human being. Sorry to tell you that. Go look it up yourself if you don't believe me. I mean, see, this is the stuff that happens. No, no, no. You're wrong. I'm sorry, road bike. You're wrong. Thermodynamics does not apply to human beings. This is from the top weight loss physiologists in the entire world, in the whole damn world. Okay? So it's nice, your opinion, but it's wrong. Because again, there's never been a calorie counting diet where people have lost weight and kept it off long term. Ever. 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 That's all I can tell you. Road bike, you're wrong. Yeah, I just told you that thermodynamics applies to a closed loop system. Why are you arguing something that's not, you can't argue. The body's an open system. Don't tell me that. Yet you're a very smart guy, I can tell. Why would you make some nonsensical argument like that? I just told you. Thermodynamics applies to a closed loop system. You're trying to apply thermodynamics to an open loop system. You can't do that. What? If calorie counting worked, how in the hell are we now in 4 years looking at 86% of America overweight and obese? We got 2.5 billion people overweight in the world, and 1 billion of those are clinically obese. You think diets are working, thermodynamics, counting calories? It's all nonsense. It's rubbish. Rubbish. There's no proof. I mean, my God, when you've got Journal of American Medical's in 12-month study, 16 pounds in a year and 40% is lean muscle mass. Every kind of diet they studied. You got people talking about things like, where is it? Why you shouldn't count calories. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. The counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, 2 factors that are known to cause weight gain. Do you at least acknowledge something's wrong? If in 4 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight and obese, 50% of our kids are overweight, and 1/3 of those are now pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetes, which didn't even exist in kids 25 years ago, and you're arguing for something that doesn't work? Really? I mean, really? Show me an answer. Show me a solution. It's not thermodynamics. It has nothing to do with thermodynamics. You're a very smart guy, I can tell. It's fine. Look, all I'm telling you is it's not my research. When you're talking about the #1 rated nutrition weight loss physiologist, not just some dietitian, physiology, the study of the nutrients once they enter the body, rated #1 in the world. Okay, I'm going with him. I'm sorry, you sound like you're probably a nice guy. You got your opinions, but you're not the #1 person in the world. I'm listening to him and the medical proof they have. I mean, that's all I can go by. It's not me, it's not my research. I'm not trying to make a case for my research. We're changing the world. She lost 21 pounds in a month. I mean, are you kidding me? This lady lost 200 pounds in a year and she's kept it off. I got a guy that lost 400 pounds in 20 months. He's kept it off for 10 years. Hello, hello, hello. Diets don't work. My God, they don't work. They don't. There's no way on earth. From 1995 to 2025, the obesity rates in the United States have doubled. We have so many more diets. Go to Barnes & Noble. It's insane. None of them work. That's all I can tell you. No, it's not about cutting calories. I just proved to you. My God, you got all these studies saying counting calories. It's over. The body can't count or measure a calorie. You know that. A calorie is a measurement, for crying out loud. The body doesn't count calories or measure calories. It runs on air, water, and nutrition, not calories. So don't tell me about cutting calories to lose weight. It's nonsense. It's never worked. There's not one study that shows it works. And when you look at something like the shot, which is a low-calorie diet, slowing down the food moving through the digestive tract, that's what the GLP-1s do. New England Journal of Medicine, which you cited as the #1 journal, which is not true. They did a 68-week study, a year and 4 months. People lost 32 pounds in a year, and 40% in the study was lean muscle mass. This is the New England Journal of Medicine, which you're holding up on high. I do too, but they're not the #1 journal in the world. That would be the Lancet or Nature Communications. Sorry to tell you that. So anyway, that's all I can tell you. I wish you luck with whatever you're going to do. Cut calories and see what happens. It doesn't work. The evidence is just, when we're looking at almost every person, and they said in 23 years, John Hopkins is estimating 100% of America is going to be overweight or obese. Then you think, oh, I guess thermodynamics didn't work. It can't work. It's not part of the human body. Oh, it's so much fun. Well, that's Missy Black. That's what these researchers did. They picked foods first from the United States, but only 30% of what you actually would consume in a month. The other 70% of what the people consumed didn't come from these researchers, because we don't sell anything, they don't sell anything. They came from other researchers who had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to bring back foods or nutrients that don't even exist in North America, with your best intentions, even if you do all organic. And a lot of these nutrients came from these blue zones where people live and be 100 years old. You're not going to go down to your local, with all due respect, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, or Farmer's Market. You can't buy nutrients that aren't in the soil in the United States. That's why these stuff come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. These nutrients either were in massive supply in small quantities of food, or simply nutrients that just don't even exist. So your approach is okay, but how are you going to satisfy your body's need for these maximum amount of nutrients in this toxic world we're living in? We're all storing chemicals in our fat cells. It's not up for debate. I mean, hell, I got a registered trademark at U.S. Patent Office of a new medical syndrome called TDOS, for crying out loud. T for toxins, D for nutrition deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. You're on the right track, but you don't have the solution. Your solution is not buying food and wherever, even if you're in England or in New Zealand, I don't care where you are. Unless you're willing to go to Russia or Mongolia or climb the Himalayas to get the things that's in this that made her lose 200 pounds in a year, and she's kept it off now for 8 years. Again, show me anything like this. It doesn't exist. So anyway, Misty, I hope that makes sense to you. And Misty, here's what you can do if you want. Visit the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. If you go there, we won't contact you. The only thing there is the medical proof. I'm going to show it to you right now before I close out. You can go to Google and type in the New Health Conversation, Misty. Right there, watch. It'll take you to the website. There's the website. The only thing on the website is the medical proof, including, you'll see number one, is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. They have no products to sell. They're scientists. You're not buying anything from us. You're not buying anything from the researchers. You're buying either 30% of the food from your grocery store. You get a grocery list developed by the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the world. And the other 70% you buy from these researchers who'd gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find these foods with these huge amounts of nutrition that you can't get at your local grocery store. And then there's a new way of eating where 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day, and 2 days a week, you actually would have 8 meals a day. And they did medical proof, Misty, to prove that the number one thing behind this is that it's removing chemicals from your fat cells. And people lowered their inflammation by 25%. Diabetics, the need for insulin came down 41% in a month. No one's ever seen these kind of results. Well, look at this guy, Curtis. 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. And look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242, they dropped to 124. No diet, no calorie counting, nothing has ever produced anything like this. So anyway, Misty, does that make sense to you? Again, one last time before I sign off, everybody, the New Health Conversation is a free medical website where you can go, okay? Thank you all. I'm signing off now, and I'll hopefully come back on around 11 or 11:30 today. I'm going to shoot for that anyway.